Okay.
Am I getting counted in? Or am I live?
Just go.
So we've rolled out our dough to an undisclosed thickness. It's undisclosed because I don't know where it is. We're going to take this on our parchment paper and we're going to slam it down really, really hard onto our oiled pizza stone. So here we go. I'm going to do it this way so we get a better shot of it. Here it goes. Now remember, when you're doing this, you got to slam it really hard so it doesn't fall off the paper. See, the problem is the paper rolls on it. So remember, you got to slam it really hard. It's all in how hard you slam it down onto the stone. See, the harder you slam it, the easier it comes through. Now I'm just going to take my handy brush. It's parchment paper. It's not supposed to stick, but hey, things stick. Pull it back. And we're going to brush that down with a little bit of our extra virgin olive oil. See, there you go. If I would have slammed it any harder, I would have slammed it harder. So now, I don't know what the next step is because I really haven't read the recipe. All right, welcome back. So we've got our dough on the pizza stone. Now it's time to dress that pizza. So we're going to take our sauce. We're going to give it a nice little stir. And we're going to plop it down. We're going to spin it in a circle. We're going to spin it in a counterclockwise circle because that's the way I went. And then we're going to switch it up and go clockwise. And then we're going to splatter all over the camera person. When you're doing your sauce and you splatter, you really want to make sure you get a hard splatter so that it gets on your camera woman. So she's really gonna just hate it. So, all right, so we're going to get our sauce all over here. A little bit more on. You want to take it close to the edges, but you don't want to go over the edges because otherwise it's just going to be over the edge, and who wants over the edge sauce?
Or an over the edge cook.
Well, apparently an over the edge cook and a camera lady who doesn't realize she's filming. All right, so we've got a nice slathering of sauce. We're going to take our onions, and the key to chopping onions is chop them ahead of time. Then you don't have to chop them. You put them in a nice big container. It's airtight. You put it in your fridge. Good to go. So we're going to dress this up. And while I'm adding the onions, we're going to go back to a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll finish dressing this bad boy up and we'll get it in the oven. Oh, hey, welcome back. How was that commercial? Hopefully it treated you well. Hopefully it made you hungry for this nice pizza we're doing. So I've also added some mushrooms. Sliced them with a knife. Best way to cut a mushroom is with a knife. Anytime you're cutting anything, you always want to make sure that you get your fingers out of the way. It used to be known as 11 finger brown. As you can see, only got 10. So we're going to add our mushrooms. We're going to add some, wow, that's a lot of garlic salt. Like any salt, you want to go from up high, get nice even distribution. Normally I'd throw it over my shoulder, but it's my kitchen. I don't want to have to clean it up. All right, and now it's time for the cheese. All right, we're going in the oven. I'm just kidding. That's not enough cheese. There's really no such thing. So the thing to remember when you're building a pizza is your cheese is going to melt as you cook it. So while in theory it's nice to get the cheese right up to the edge of the crust, remember that your oven is going to help you out and it's going to push the cheese down a little bit further. So you want to, just like the sauce, you want to give yourself a little bit of a ridge. It also gives you a nice little handle to hold onto your piece of pizza. And just because I can, and there's not a whole lot left in this bag, we're going to add a little bit of cheddar for some color. And we're going to go, well, the pizza is going to go into a 425 degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to check it in about 12 though. So here we have our final uncooked pizza. Come on back in a little bit and we'll show you the finished product. So welcome back. We've taken our pizza out of the oven. As you can see, it's cooked. So, you know, this reminds me of a story. So, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the pizza. I like to use sawing type motions with my pizza cutter. Don't know if that really helps anything or not. And I just like to follow through, make sure I got my even cut. Normally I would spin the pan, but this pan is really hot and I don't want to burn my fingers. So I'm just going to turn my wrist and do the same thing. Now when you're cutting a pizza, you really want to make sure that your camera person is waving their hand strangely at you. Even cuts are the best, but if it's not even, who cares? It's pizza. It looks delicious. All right, so, and because tasting is important, that's good. Crust is flaky, surprisingly buttery, just a really rich, wonderful texture. Great amount of chew, but still that little bit of crispness that you want. I'm done. What else is there to say? Except bone up the teeth.